What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Strangers Minds. I'm Fernando, and today we're gonna read from Reddit. I haven't done one of these in such a long time, but I think it's about time that we read some authentic paranormal stories from the subreddit Paranormal Encounters. And let's just go right ahead and start because, from what I'm seeing, there is one that was put up 17 hours ago by Soup is Cyber Guts. And from the title of it, it seems like they went to the Stanley Hotel, and that is by far a bucket list for many paranormal investigators out there. So let's get into it. Let's see what's up. It doesn't really have much of a story, but one of the things that I like to do here is also read the comments. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're distasteful, just to say it nice. But let's see what's up. All right, Stanley Hotel. Ghost or not, please help. I'm assuming they're talking about this over here because it does look like a head, nose, mouth, eyes, a bit of ears. But let's see what's up. I was at the ghost tour at the Stanley Hotel and was down in the tunnels. I decided to take a selfie down there because they said they get a lot of activity down there. When I did it, looked like someone behind me. No one was behind me when I took the photo though. Is this a ghost or something else? Let me know. All right, before we get into the comments, I need to give in my 2 cents just in case if there are some commentary that coincides with my opinion. Um Honestly, that does look like a head. It does look like a head. But due to this gap of space, as you can tell, especially I'm assuming that this is somebody's flashlight, you could tell that this is dark, pitch black back there. So when she took the picture, this could possibly be some form of pareidolia going on. The light from the flashlight, the your I'm assuming is a phone or even camera. Um, all of this ends up being a little bit pixelated back here. So this could be a form of pareidolia. And not for nothing, but I'm kind of seeing like one head but two faces. What do you guys think? Over here you got one eye, one eye. Looks like if they got into a fight with Mike Tyson over here. That's the nose, mouth, okay? Now here's the second face that I'm looking at. Looks like this person, eyes. It even looks like they got glasses, nose, mouth, and a bit of a chin. Almost looks Asian, to be honest. So, yeah, yeah. Let's see what's up in the comments. Most likely pareidolia. I'm nice. I know, I know. But let's see. But if you felt other sensations that gave it the impression of being something else, then I'd love to hear about it. Something sensory. Or if you experience more while there. Kudos. I actually like that one. But first and foremost, to Super Cyberguts, thank you for sharing your story. I truly appreciate it because when people put up their stories up, especially on Reddit, you have to take it like a bittersweet pill because there's gonna be some assholes out there that's gonna trash your story, which makes people not want to come out and share their story. Which to me is kind of dangerous because if there is somebody experiencing real paranormal activity, they're gonna feel some type of way to go public, and that is actually bad. That's suffering by yourself. And if you have a family, it's it's even worse. But I completely agree with Jay Dizzle Wolf. Pareidolia, at least in my opinion, that's 2 for 2. That doesn't look like one to me, but having stayed there many times, I can assure you with greater confidence than anything I have ever experienced anywhere else, that place is 100% haunted. I got stories. So warp speed, I will love to hear your stories. And if you got pictures or videos, that's just, that's like the icing on the cake. Um, but yeah, I haven't been to the Stanley Hotel, unfortunately. I've been to many places, but Stanley Hotel is definitely on my bucket list, and I would really love to experience what's going on there. And even if nothing doesn't happen, because not for nothing, but paranormal investigators, when we go out to a location, it's not guaranteed that you're going to experience something and you're going to the most haunted location in the world, right? It's not guaranteed. Spirits, entities, they're not on your time. So you could go there and not experience absolutely nothing, but just knowing that Stephen King wrote The Shining due to his experiences in this hotel. I mean, just walking around where Stephen King got the imagination to create such an amazing movie. Hey, it's good enough for me. Um, let's go. One more. It's definitely creepy, and I can make out a face, but it's most likely light against the wall, causing the imperfection to look like a face. Those tunnel walls look pretty beat up. I have to agree. Like I said, due to just the flashlight, you could tell how dark it is, and I'm pretty sure that's a beam. And if they're in the tunnels, all of that could just be pareidolia due to if there's any type of light hitting back there, you know, you'll be seeing, just shadows off the little crevices from the bumps on the wall. Yeah, that's a that's what I am thinking about. So yeah, this was amazing. Thank you for sharing. Let's go on to the next. All right. Elf, that's commercial. Okay. Hold on. Let's read this one. No tower. Okay, let's pause it again. And we're definitely going to add some volume. Fourth floor in the hospital closed years ago, but security experienced this while doing rounds. Oof, we got one, guys. I've long said that there are three places that are definitely haunted, and that is, first of all, hospitals, cemeteries, and churches. Let's see what's up. Do we have, I don't hear volume. Is there even volume? Oh, hell no. Even the TV. Even the TV. What exactly is on the TV? Well, all I could tell you this is that we would have to rule out any short circuits going on there. If it's a, fourth floor hospital that's been closed down for years, if there's no maintenance, even though I gotta say, like that room looks pretty legit. It doesn't seem like it seems like it's empty, but that the hospital fourth floor was closed for years. They keeping it up, very well maintained. But we would have to rule out some short circuits with with the electricity. You know, possibly have an electrician go in there, check out the outlets, the wirings, and if they cannot rule anything out, you know, because if it's just the light, then it's just the light. Could even be the sparks that happens between the ballast and the fluorescent light bulbs, or if they use LED, regardless, they would have to check that out. But then the TV was going off also, which makes it more interesting. So they would definitely have to rule out any electrical issues. So let's see. Wait, if it's been closed for years, why is it still being maintained? I have felt with I have dealt with medical logistics. That stuff is a money sinkhole. I have trouble believing they would close an entire floor and leave all the equipment there just to be perfectly maintained. Heck, they even still have the hookup on the bed. Even if this was an overflow readiness situation, you don't keep those connected unless they are being primed for immediate use. You know what? I've worked in the medical field and not in a hospital, but in a physical therapy setting. And yeah, I could tell you that if there is a room or anything not being used, like everything gets unplugged, especially for a hospital, which is kind of weird that it was empty in the first place. But um, but yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree. Not to mention the bed still having sheets, blankets, pillows, and the room looks clean. I mean, that's my thing. Plus a remote controlled TV and someone off to the side turning it off and on again. I don't understand this. No Safareto, maybe it's not even English, but that's what I immediately thought. Someone is playing with the light switches. Okay. What's the name of this? No tower. All right. I can corroborate this is the exact same setup I've seen in hospitals I work in, and there is a control switch right behind where the person filming and nurses can control it without having to walk to the bed. Yeah, and all the light functionings turn on are exactly what would happen when you hit different switches, such as the dim to allow the patients to sleep, but the to still see the patient. This is clickbait. All right. So, you know what? We are getting a lot of people with the same commentary that basically this video was orchestrated. Uh, I mean, dude, just due to the fact that if this is a hospital that was closed down for years and the way this place looks, it's too clean. It's too neat, and everything is still there. Uh, a couple of years back, again, when I worked in a physical therapy setting, and when we were relocating the office, dude, like we took everything out. There was no machinery at all. So, yes, granted, like if you go to an abandoned location and, they have certain things still there, but it's not going to be top grade television. Like, it's not going to be all of this, everything that you saw here. It's not going to happen. All right. So let's try another one. Okay. We got another. Ooh, I see something moving over here already by Nine Seer. Let's see what's up. Huh. Okay, let's see if there's a story. This video is of something that I originally thought was just flying about, but I'm not so sure anymore, and it would be good to know what you all think it could be. I was in bed and I thought I heard my dog crying downstairs, so I checked the camera in the hallway to see where he was. I was correct. I noticed the thing and thought, what is that flying around? And grabbed my partner's phone to record my phone screen so I could watch it again as I didn't have an SD card in the camera to replay it. The reason I'm unsure now is because at the very start of the video and at around 12 seconds, played frame by frame, there's also two or three dots that seem to fly out from the bottom of the stair gate, in sync with the other two things flying by the radiator on the left hand side center frame. They all move together. It was taken in 2018, and I've just found it. And I just found it on an old phone that I charged up while looking for something else. I'm not sure if it could maybe be a reflection of something, but equally, I'm not sure what the reflection could have been from. I'd appreciate it if anyone has any ideas as to what day it is. Thanks. All right, let's see. Let's make it big. Let's put up the volume to see if there's volume. The last one didn't. Looks interesting because it kind of dips and it goes right up. Do you know what this right here looks like to me? The way this one over here moves, especially with the other setting, that right there looks like the dot from a etch and sketch, whatever. I don't see the other two from the staircase. We definitely see these over here. This one over here kind of disappears. This one goes down and then it goes up. So it changes directory. That is interesting. I'm um I'm not a big fan of orbs because there could be a lot of factors that could come into play when you're reviewing an orb footage. If there's anything close to the lens, is going to look like an orb. If there's bugs, dust, even cobwebs, all of this stuff could give a weird um, visual, and a lot of people portray it to be like orbs. But more bugs, a nice vacuum or air vent will do the trick. To rule out bugs, we would have to know what kind of camera that was. Because if it's one of those, not modern security cameras that the frame per second is like 20, um, then it could be a bug. But if it's a more modern camera with night vision being more updated, like let's say 30, possibly even 60 frame per second, I don't think that would have been a bug because it would have not left that trail behind it. It would have not left that trail behind it. Looks like some kind of reflection from a pair of headlights. I mean, we could rule it out if it was like it. It seems like there was stairs heading down, and to me, it did not seem like there was. These stairs to me looks like a basement stairs. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, right? It doesn't seem like, unfortunately we're only getting this little side of the camera. Um could it be headlights? In this view, yeah. We could possibly get some reflection from a car passing by. But when they change the visual, that this that what orb, it's not going to be due to the headlights. Due to the the strain being left behind and then it going back up. It looks like two very identical sources of light, exactly the same distance apart. It even overexposes and trails when slowed. Its light exposure to the left of the camera is that the front door. To the left of the camera is that the front door. Yes, thank you. I would like to know that because are there any windows? Could have refracted through glass and hit the curve front of the camera from the other side, or hit a mirror or glass frame on a picture. Now, this guy's opinion, it's based off of if there was a like a car passing by and the lights is reflecting off of, all the reflective objects. But when they changed the view to that, what seemed like night vision, it left the trail. Reflection of light is not going to do that. Yes. Oh, it's nine seer. Is that he's responding to this? Okay. Wait. Nine seer. There would be no headlights directly outside that part of the house. Okay. Yes, the door would be at the bottom left hand corner. No mirrors or glass picture frames in that room. But I see what you're saying about the camera lens. Thanks for your thoughts. Okay. I don't think they look identical, but I do get feather type vibes. Some feathers moving with the flow of the draft, maybe, but it does look intelligent, but sometimes they do. It's difficult. Weird for sure. Nice catch. All right. So that's basically what we're getting. You see, like this to me is what I believe is just a regular view. That curve at the very end is what gets me. And honestly, they're not moving really identical. This one over here, it almost looks like it's getting closer. And when it dips, it completely disappears and then heads up. You know what? That is an interesting catch for sure, hands down. Interesting. Was it anything paranormal? We cannot decisively say it is, but regardless of what, when you cannot find an explanation to a paranormal activity, it ends up not being normal, which is paranormal, correct? But due to just what we got, we cannot even determine that either. We would need a lot more information to determine whether or not this was paranormal. But first and foremost, I would like to know, are you experiencing any paranormal activity, or was this just a one time thing? That would be a very interesting question to have answered. All right, let's go on to the next. Looking for advice and possible same experiences. Wait, so this person, okay, let's see what's up. Looking for advice and possible same experiences. I swear that is not AI written. I just like to use the M dash. Okay. So I'll start off. So I'll start this off by saying, sorry if I leave some things out. Feel free to ask me any questions, and I'm not the greatest storyteller. On the night of April 4th, 2026, wow, that's just, at around 12 p.m., my brother called me in a panic, claiming I think I just saw a skinwalker or something. All right. He was driving down a back road in eastern Idaho, just north of Pocatello. And in a clearing of a field, he sees what he described as a slender, ghostly, white, almost humanoid figure. This figure was seen jumping around in a circle, almost dancing. I think possibly performing some sort of ritual. The figure had no face and, as stated, slender and ghostly white in pigmentation. He claims he felt this disgusting rush of dread and fear. Something was telling him to get out of there right away, so he sped off as fast as he could. Here is where my story gets concerning. The house we currently rent is in was abandoned by the previous owners. They just up and left with no message to the landlord. The house was left spotless. That being said, my younger sibling who sleep in the basement claim that they hear talking, scratching at their doors and tons of other odd sounds at night. So my house is a little spooky. I personally have only had one weird experience. It was this last summer when I was sleeping with my window open. I heard a blood curdling scream coming from the field next to my house. Chills went down my entire body, and I felt a rush of existential dread. Existential dread, sorry. I'm Latino, so my tongue kind of does weird things. Dread and sadness. I almost wanted to cry. Now, here's the serious part. Yesterday, April 6th, 2026. Holy crap. Okay. All day, my younger brother was being weird, saying he saw a figure sitting in our truck outside and there was just a fence looking at him. A face looking at him, sorry. A figure sitting in our truck outside and there was a face looking at him. Hmm. Almost stalking him. We were all making fun of him, telling him to stop messing around. No joke, last night he had to sleep in the same as our youngest brother, bed, as our youngest brother, because he was so scared. He claimed this figure was just looking at him in a menacing way and he was begging us to go outside and search around the truck, just to give him that reassurance. That same night, I heard voices out in the kitchen having full conversations that when I went to check it out, nobody was there. Odd. To be honest, I'm just posting this to try and get some advice. Me and my mom are going to sage the house tonight just for that extra reassurance. Has anyone had any sort of experience with that particular dancing white figure? My brother said he saw a reel a while back about a guy who saw what looked like a tall, white, slender rabbit human jumping around in a circle. I swear on my heart and soul, this is all true. I need advice. Okay, so the fact that this happened yesterday, this person is going to most likely read all of this. Unfortunately, there hasn't been anybody. Let's see this one. Did anybody post? Not SW. I don't know what that means. Okay, let's go back. All right. So if you guys are experiencing paranormal activity and you guys want to go just straight to saging, you could do that. But do you know how to do it? Because the fact of the matter is, when you sage, you have to close you all the doors and windows needs to be closed to the house. All the closets and cabinets needs to be open. There needs to be one open door as an exit. Everything else closed, one door as an exit as far as going outside of the house. All once again, all the cabinets, drawers, anything that opens and closes inside the house needs to be open. So when you are smudging, that's what you call it, using the sage. When you're smudging, you have to go to every angle, every crevice, everything all around the house. Because if you miss at one spot, if you miss one spot, that could be the spot where the entity will retreat to because he's safe, right? Apparently, according to theories, when you're smudging, the entities feel suffocated and it's like almost pushing them out. So you need to grab like every aspect of your living area. And once, at the same time, once you're pushing it out, you have to be stern with you do not belong here. We need you to leave, go back where you came from, so on and so forth while you're smudging, right? So you cannot show fear. If things start happening while you are smudging, that means it is working. But that's where you need to like really tie up your belt and just, pull through. Now, not for nothing. It depending on what you're dealing with, it could get very hard to keep it up. Like, I've been around paranormal investigators that has been doing this for years, getting scared at paranormal activity. So you need to be like ready, mentally ready, physically, mentally, spiritually ready to do this because things can happen. Um, if you are not looking for evidence of this, because not for nothing, all of this could be a wildly huge imagination going on, right? Like, who's not to say all of this could be explained? Usually, people will get a paranormal investigating team. There's one like in every corner. But do your work, man. Like, don't just find a paranormal team and and just go with the first pick. You got to treat this like if you're gonna buy a house or a car, right? So do your research, get a good team in there, and remember, first and foremost, real paranormal investigating teams do not charge fees. Let's get that out the way. This is a hobby. This isn't a job preference. This is not an occupation, unfortunately. Because if it was, I would apply to be it. Because I'm a paranormal investigator myself, and I've never charged anybody, not even a penny, for my services. And real paranormal investigators don't either. The only time we get paid is if we do videos, or we go and do certain community functions, or like paracons, or maybe not even that, I've never gotten paid, so I can't really put my 2 cents on that. But if you're gonna get a paranormal group, try and get evidence. If they sometimes they let the person, the owner of the house, be with them while they're doing their investigations, and just pay attention what kind of equipment they have, their techniques. And if you need to get more of an example of how things work, then hey, I don't really trust too much all the paranormal evidence on television, but the process is good, right? So I would recommend, like, I became a huge fan of ghost hunters. Not a big fan of the name, because we're not out there hunting ghosts. I'm a huge fan of hunters because of their professionalism and how they conduct their investigation. That is a good example on how people should try, and paranormal groups, how they should try and investigate if it's a house call. Um, get yourself some knowledge, and if you don't want a strangers roaming around your house, hey, that's very much understandable, but you could do this yourself also. You don't need $1,000 equipment to investigate your own house. What you really need is voice recorder, video recorder, and a camera, so you could take pictures, video recorder to catch evps, and a camera. You got to place it like in good places so it could catch an array of space. There's a lot of people that set up a security camera and it's catching a wall. Like, what is that gonna do, right? um but just so we could end this video, because I know I'm just talking, and this is the first time the first time in a long time that I recorded a reading from Reddit. But I hope this person, whenever this video comes out, because I don't even know, but if they're still looking for answers and they catch this video, I hope they get the help that they want. I'll probably, be the first one to comment, and if I do, I'll let you guys know. But for today, we're going to end this right here. And please, you guys, if you guys are enjoying yourselves, please do what you do when you like a channel. Hit that like, share, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys on the next. Peace.